What's up? It's so good to have y'all back. I want to say this has been a great week for me because I have learned a lot. I had some tough time this week, but as always, I tell you, you learn the most on the days that you struggle the most. That's if you're the type of person who wants to attack the next day and win. Now, that's how you grow. And what do? We network, we do all those kinds of things. All right. But enough about that. I really want to talk about something. I had to do this video today because something hit me today because you learn a lot from your own problems when things happen. And I want to talk about something. Do you remember when you were young, when you were a kid and you would go out and play with your friends? And if you had a mom like my mom, she would always say, boy, you better be in this house before the street lights come on. Y'all remember that? That was the measure of when you stayed out too late. It was when those lights came on, and we would always be out playing football, basketball, whatever we were playing. And we'd always look at those lights. And boy, I tell you, it was scary because you got to imagine we don't have watches. I mean, back in the day, I didn't have a watch. I was too poor. Didn't have a watch. How am I going to know what time the lights come on? So it was all an instinct. It was, you look over, you're like, oh man, the lights aren't on yet. I tell you what, feel like it's about to come on. Let's get to the house. Because if I get to the house and them lights on, my mom she gonna light me up. And so we would do that. But what I realized, that's a good thing, right? It's called a tripwire. I was reading the book Decisive, and that's called a tripwire. The tripwire is when the lights actually come on. Guess what? I realized that I'm late, that I'm not at home like mama told me. And if you're trying to be successful, you really have to set tripwires for yourself. You have to have something that is going to put you in a position where it's time to do a certain thing, right? So I want to talk about that for a minute. We're in a new world. A millionaire, the next millionaire, the next big name, the next person who can do something huge to change the world could literally be under your nose and you would never even know it. You know why you don't know it? Because you're too busy with your own success. Successful people, or people who hustle, they're too busy to stop and return phone calls. They're too busy to stop and entertain anything new. They're too busy because guess what? They're caught up in a hustle. And that's a good thing because you're successful. You're making a lot of money. But here's the risk of being so successful where you can't make time. The next big thing, you're going to miss it. So I have an idea for you. Now think about this for a minute. So this is what happens to successful people. Successful guy A sees successful guy B crossing paths in the airport. They both respect each other from a distance, and they've been looking for an opportunity to work with each other. So they stop in the airport and they go, hey man, give me your number. I'll get your number. They trade numbers via cell phone. They know they have each other's numbers. They make plans. One guy's going to Los Angeles to take care of business. The other guy's headed to New York to take care of business. They're both making money. Here's the thing. They both get to their locations. One tries to reach out to the other. He never gets him. One reaches out to the other. He never gets him. When they do finally get each other, guess what they say? Man, I apologize, man. I've been just so tied up, man. I've been so tied up. So eventually, successful guy A says, screw him. He was just talking. Or successful guy B just says, man, I'm just too busy. There's just no way I can make room for it. So how do successful people grow and not miss out on the next big opportunity? Because you have to be open to new things if you're really going to go to that next level. So you need to set a tripwire. Here's a good tripwire. We who are hustlers and we who are busy and successful, it's okay to keep hanging around the same people. But if you're going to grow your network, you always have to meet somebody new. So a tripwire that you should set for yourself is about 4 hours a week. Set that time aside for nothing but new stuff. New people, people you don't know, ideas that are presented to you. Only give this time to that particular situation. So the requirement for a person to meet you is you've never heard them, met them, worked with them, or anything like that. 4 hours a week. Set it aside. That's a tripwire. This way, you won't let hustle and bustle keep you out the loop of the next biggest thing that's going to happen. That way, you're always getting something new. Those hours may not pan out, but what if they do? At least you've got something in place where you've always got time for something new. All right? So set yourself a tripwire. 4 hours a week. That's 4 times 4. That's 16 hours a month. It's worth the investment because you hustle too much. You're not going to stop. You know how many successful people don't return people's calls? Do you understand that they are rude? That they're so caught up in themselves, they don't have time unless you matter? Do you know successful people don't do that? You might be one of them. The point I'm trying to say is stop and make time for something new. You're going to miss the next billionaire. You're going to miss the next big thing, the next game changer. The person who lives next door to you might be working on something that's really going to be top notch. And guess what? You didn't even make time because you kept saying, I'm going to get to you. I'm going to get with you. I promise you. I promise you. Never returning calls. All right. So think about that for a minute. Success always gets greater when you learn something new. So you have to make time for new relationships, new opportunities. All right. Take it easy. I'm Antonio Johnson. You can send me an email, antoniojohnson@yahoo.com. I'd love to hear from you. Peace.